and welcome back to Mother Tongue, your eyes, ears, and finger on the pulse for all parents around the world. Let's get going, shall we?
So, everybody, we have literally just got back. And when I say literally just got back, we landed late last night on a Sunday. Today is Monday. From our trip to France. And whilst it was amazing in so many ways, I'm not going to lie, it was quite full on. I'm not sure I had wholly anticipated how full on it was going to be with 3 children traveling to Europe. But do you know what? There were so many great magical moments across the whole trip. Today, specifically, I'm actually going to talk about our visit to Disneyland Paris because so many of you WhatsApped me. So many of you DM'd me on Instagram asking for all the tips and the tricks, saying that you were traveling this summer. So I thought I would do a little quick bonus episode all about our trip to Disney because I feel like I've got a lot to say on the point. I'm not going to lie. With any trip, there were lots of highs and lots of lows. The biggest low being biggest constant low being the fact that we were totally outnumbered the entire time. This would be my biggest first tip. If you are like me and you are traveling to Disneyland Paris with more children than there are adults, take more adults. I wish we had roped in an auntie, uncle, grandparent, because it is a lot with 2 adults and 3 children, especially when one is a baby. It would have been great had we had someone who could have gone back and napped with Rocco, for example. At least once a day, because poor little Rocco did all his naps on the move. I feel like he's now allergic to his pram. I don't think he'll ever want to go in his pram again because he spent so much time in it. But to be honest, I mean, look, there was lots of queuing and lots of other things that I will tell you about during this episode. But in general, wow, what a place. Do you know what? I haven't been to Disneyland Paris since I was, I'm going to say 8. I remember bits and bobs of it. I weirdly remember Space Mountain quite vividly and not being able to go on it. So maybe I was younger than that. But yeah, it has just changed so much since I was last there. And actually my husband has been quite a few times. The last time he went, he was 21. And even for him, he said it had changed loads. And I reckon it's forever evolving. I mean, the production value alone in Disneyland, some of the rides productions and some of the show productions were so incredible. It blows your mind how much thought and precision has gone into creating Disneyland Paris. And I mean, it is a well-oiled machine. I'm not going to lie. Like, everything is very, very slick. And yes, there are queues, but there are, hundreds of thousands of people who go probably every single day. I actually probably should have checked that stat, but I mean, it is packed all the time. And I did ask when I arrived if there was a low season, and the lady at the hotel said that September and January are marginally quieter, but all in all, it's normally, busy all the time, which is incredible. I mean, I'm not really sure that anywhere else in the world is constantly this busy. Anyway, backtracking, Disneyland Paris. Obviously, there are now quite a few Disneylands across the world. Paris, I think, opened in 1992. The original are in America, so they have California and then they have Florida. And then they also have now in Shanghai, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and then one coming in Abu Dhabi, which is very, very exciting. We went for 2 nights. If I'm being honest, I wish we'd had one more day. So we did 2 nights, which meant we only had 1 full day, and we flew out very early on the 3rd day. So it meant the 3rd day was totally, like, we didn't get a 3rd day at all. So we arrived probably at 11 a.m. on the first day, and it meant that the time that we were there was super, super busy and super packed. And I genuinely think had we had either the whole of the final day or another night, it might have made the whole thing a little bit more relaxed. So I think if you can afford to go for an extra day, definitely do it. Or get flights that make you land early and leave late, just because there is so much to do. And I mean, we did a good scratch. We did a good scratch of the surface, but I do think that there was still lots of stuff that we didn't manage to do. And had I had more time, we definitely would have tried to fit them in. So yeah, and in terms of like age groups, genuinely, I really think that Disneyland Paris is perfect for all ages. And I wholeheartedly mean that. We took a 5-month-old, a just turned 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Now, my 3-year-old would have gone on every single roller coaster had she been tall enough. Sadly, she was not, which she was genuinely mortified about. But I was really pleasantly surprised how many rides they could all get on. Disneyland is set up for small children, and I just think that is so great. Yeah, I mean, I think there were probably like 5 or 6 rides that that my 4-year-old was too short for. And I was also pleasantly surprised how many rides the baby was allowed to go on. Now, we wore him in an Ergo baby carrier at the end, nearly the entire time. He was either in the carrier or he was in the pram. And when he was in the carrier on the rides, like it was great. I mean, he went on Flying Dumbo, he went on the Teacups, he went into Peter Pan, he went on Pirates of the Caribbean, he did Buzz Lightyear, Laser Quest, he did the Spider-Man ride, he did nearly everything, literally. It was incredible. And then the ones that he didn't go on, me and my husband tag teamed. My husband would take the baby and I would take the elder ones, or the other way around. So it worked quite well. It just meant that me and my husband didn't really get to go on any rides by ourselves. We didn't get to go on like Tower of Terror, or I really wanted to go on Crush's Coaster. It looked amazing, the Finding Nemo ride, and my son was actually tall enough to go on it, but there's a shark that kind of jumps out halfway through the ride, and he was having none of that. So yeah, that is for next time, because I'm hoping there will be a next time. He did say to me, "Mummy, I'll go back when I'm 10 and I'll go on all the big scary rides then, but now when I'm 4, I don't want to." So, fair enough. Anyway, I'm going to start with where to stay before we move on to rides and everything else. And then we'll finish off maybe with some tips and tricks. Now, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. Now, I believe that there is a official Disneyland Hotel at every single location. Now, the Disneyland Hotel in Paris is obviously very iconic, but the best thing about it is it's physically on site. So you actually walk underneath the Disneyland Hotel to get into the Disneyland park. Now, Disneyland Paris is split into 2 parks. There is the Walt Disney Studio Park, which I think was built in 2002. And then there is also the Disneyland Park. Now, you can the hotel has one door that you go in and out of to access both parks, and it's super easy to just walk into both, which is great. This was a massive USP for us, because it meant that we could pop back if we needed to have some downtime, which we did every single day. We could get there easily. We didn't have to get on a bus, or we didn't have to walk far. Now, there are lots of other Disneyland hotels, and I hear they are incredible, but you have to either walk or get on a shuttle to get back to the hotel, which means if you're with lots of children and there's not lots of you, or you have a small child that needs to nap, it's not as easy to kind of navigate. I hear the Marvel Hotel is amazing. If you've got any Marvel fans out there, then definitely look at the Marvel Hotel. And there is another one which is called, wait a second, Disneyland Hotels Paris. Wait a second, Disneyland Hotels. Places to stay. Come on. Then there's also the Disney Newport Bay Hotel, which again is supposed to be incredible. It's more like nautical themed. There are some lodges, and then there's also the there are some lodges, and then there's also the Santa Fe Hotel, which is more inspired by Disney Pixar's Cars movie. There's also a ranch, which I think is really cool. We didn't actually check that out, but as I mentioned, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. And I loved it. I mean, again, it's obviously quite old now, but I think that's very in character with the hotel. Disney music plays the entire time, which I loved. There is a incredible pool there. It's all indoor, so you can swim all year round. The kids club is fantastic, and what I also really liked is they have princesses in the kids club every single day. So if you want to go meet a character or your favorite princess, you can pop down there and meet a princess, which I thought was really lovely, because actually meeting characters in the park is quite hard. I believe they changed the rules a few years ago, so now there are character meeting points, and there are different characters throughout the park, but you have to queue to actually meet the characters. And this can take over an hour, depending on the popularity of the characters. So the fact that you can actually see some princesses in the hotel, I think, is fantastic. The rooms, again, our room was Frozen themed, which I loved. They had loads of lovely little touches in the room as well. Like we had some watercolor books that the kids could use. There were lots of little other bits and treats. Minibar was all included, which again I thought was great. There's obviously every Disney movie on the TV, which again, I mean, winner. We watched so many Disney movies at night when we came back from the park, which I loved. We actually ended up getting 2 queen beds. So my husband slept with Rafa, I slept with Isla, and then the baby was in a cot. So I'm not going to lie, it was quite cozy in the room, but you're not in the room a great deal. So that's actually okay. There was one restaurant that we went to breakfast every day. It's a buffet. I'm not going to lie, the coffee was average, but the coffee was very bad in the whole of France. I couldn't find a good cup of coffee whilst I was there, which is fine. But the tea was good, so we managed with that. And the breakfast was good. I mean, to be honest, I love anywhere that has a good cheese buffet. And the French do cheese very, very well. So I had Comté and Parma ham every single day for breakfast, which, to be honest, living my best life. Loved it. There were obviously lots of croissants. Breakfast opens every single day at 7:30 at the Disneyland Hotel. And then the park opens for early magic hour at 8:30. So I suggest get to breakfast on time, get in, get eaten, get out. That is one of my biggest tips. I feel like we started to flag around midday. We obviously went in June, so it got also very hot around midday. So what we tried to do is get out, get early, do as much as we can in the morning, come back, have a little rest, and then go out again in the afternoon. It gets much, much busier in the middle of the day as well. And then as the afternoon goes on, more of the day visitors kind of start to peter out, and then it gets semi-quieter. The hotel also has lots of different themes rooms. So if there is a particular princess or Disney character that your child likes, then you can definitely request a room that is themed around that particular character, which I also thought was great. The hotel was huge, but very easily accessible for everything. Everything is very well signposted. The team at the hotel were wonderful. There's lots of obviously iconic photo moments, which I thought was great. There are also lots of different incredible experiences within the hotel as well. Wait a second, I'm just going to discover the hotel. La 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 la. My favourite that we actually didn't do, but maybe next time, is the Royal Dream Fairy Tale Makeover, where you give the child the opportunity of a lifetime to become a princess or a prince for the day with a royal experience and a makeover, including hair, a royal costume, which you can all select upon arrival, which is quite unique and quite cute. I mean, yeah, my daughter would have absolutely loved that, but sadly, we didn't have time this time. Next time, for sure. There are also lots of places to eat in the Disneyland Hotel. If you want to eat in the hotel at night, we actually ate in the park, apart from breakfast. Just because, obviously, there is so much to do in the parks, and you just want to make sure that you make the most of it. Now, as I mentioned, you get early magic hour, which we did on the one full day that we had at the hotel. Now, there is an app. Disneyland Paris has an app. Now, one of my biggest pieces of advice is to download the app before you go. Do your research, people, before you go to Disneyland Paris, because once you're there, things are so full on and so quick. You'll blink and you'll miss it, and you wouldn't have made the most of your time. And I think optimizing your time, especially if you're not there for long, is one of the biggest tips I can give you. So definitely make sure you download the app before you go. Now, the app is really great because one, it lets you get all your fast track passes or premier access passes. It allows you to see what time all the shows are, and you can also see live wait times for all the rides. This is also very, very helpful in the moment. This is also very, very helpful in the morning. So when you go for your magic time, before everyone else gets let in at 9:30, not all the rides are open. They open different rides. I don't know what this is based on, but different rides open at different times. So some might be open, a couple might be open at 8:30, and then some might open at 8:45, 9 o'clock, 9:15. But it's all updated on the app. So if you're constantly checking the app, other things will open, then you can rush there and get on the rides before anybody else arrives. So we did this actually on the first morning. No, not on the first morning. Oh. On our full day there, we actually managed to get on something stupid like 6 rides in the first hour. We were the first people on the Mad Hatter's Teacups, which was great. We also did the carousel, we did Peter Pan's Flight, we did Pinocchio, we did Flying Dumbo, we did Pirates of the Caribbean. We did all sorts really, really early on. And I mean, heading to Fantasyland in that magic hour is also probably one of the best things you can do. Fantasyland gets super, super busy throughout the day. It's probably got the most rides and also the most iconic rides, I would say. So if you head there early and try and get that all ticked off, then you're kind of done. And then everything else you can kind of do later. We also got Fast Pass. We got Fast Pass for our full day, and that again was a massive help. It's quite expensive, I'm not going to lie, but I think if you have one day where you're like, right, we're going to do all the Fast Pass ones, then you can just book it for that day and blitz them. And it does make a massive difference, especially if you're with small children. Getting to queue jump or have less of a queue, there's still obviously a little bit of a queue, but we're talking like a 10-minute wait as opposed to an hour wait, and I feel like that makes a massive difference. Now, there are lots and lots of rides that you can go on. I'm just going to mention a few that we really, really loved. That was perfect for our kids. So again, we have a baby, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. Now, we started with It's a Small World. Obviously, It's a Small World is an iconic ride, and I feel like everyone needs to do this. It's on a boat. It's super fun. Both our kids absolutely loved it. So that was a big tick. That's in Fantasyland. So if we're staying in Fantasyland, we also did Dumbo, which was great. Peter Pan's Flight, which was fantastic. Loved that. We did Pinocchio, which was also good. We did the carousels. We did the Mad Hatter's Teacups. We went into Alice's Labyrinth. There is also a Princess Pavilion, which opens, I think, at 10 a.m. every single day, where you get to meet a princess. We actually didn't do that, but as mentioned, we got to meet them in the hotel. There's also a Cassie Jr. train ride and a boat experience, which is kind of at the top end of Fantasyland. And sadly, we did not get to do that, which was a bit of a shame because I really, really wanted to, but we ran out of time. So yeah, but Fantasyland is gorgeous. It's kind of probably one of the older parts of the park, but it's really nostalgic, all your favorites. So definitely head there. We absolutely loved it. We also did the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which I think was in Adventureland. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Thunder Mountain is also in there, but we didn't sadly get a chance to go on that. That ride was actually closed. There were a couple of rides that were closed during our visit. Another really good one that the kids loved was the Buzz Lightyear ride. It's like a laser quest ride. And there's also a Cars ride where you can drive a car. We actually, again, didn't have a chance to do that one, but also looks really fun. There's also Sleeping Beauty's Castle, which we watched loads of YouTube videos before we went. And I really wanted to go in inside, but my son saw that there was a dragon in the basement of the castle and then refused to go in. So we didn't actually get to have a look around Sleeping Beauty's castle, but it is gorgeous. And obviously the castle is so iconic. Definitely recommend if you want to go. Then on the other side, in Walt Disney Studios, other rides that we really loved was Slinky's roller coaster. Kids adored Slinky's roller coaster. The Ratatouille ride was next level. There was another Cars ride over there, which again was phenomenal. The kids loved this. The Spider-Man ride was epic, probably one of our favorites. We went on this a couple of times. The kids adored it. There is a flying carpet, which is very, very similar to Dumbo. The ride kind of goes up and the kids fly. And I think that was all that we did in Walt Disney Studio. Let me think. There was also a parachutes ride, which again looked super, super fun, but Rafa was having none of it. He was having none of it. And then Crusher's Coaster, which I was dying to go on, but again, he saw a shark on a YouTube video and he was like, nah, not doing it. Again, if you've got the app, it shows you on the app which ones have Premier Access or Fast Pass. So again, you can kind of navigate your day around that. I am actually also going to do a downloadable document with our itinerary of what we did. So if you are interested in that, head over to our website and download it. I will probably also link it in the show notes as well, because this will be a really helpful resource if you are going to Disneyland over the summer, and it will help you hopefully plan a little bit. Because again, it took me, I mean, I left the planning to the real last minute, which was probably not advisable, but there is a lot to do. And if you're there for a short window, you need to plan. You need to plan, people, because again, the shopping alone is phenomenal. It is genuinely, I was mind blown by the shopping. Main Street in the Disneyland park, we went into probably like 5 shops, and I think they were probably about 30. They have a bookshop, which we didn't get to go into, which I was really sad about. They have sweet shops. They have interior shops. They have obviously all your clothing stores, all the toy shops. Everything is obviously Disney. Like it's mad. It's absolutely mad. It's unbelievable. The shopping is really, really good. They also have an incredible collaboration with Pandora, and I wish that they had small enough bracelets for Isla. Sadly, they were all too big for her, but you can get bracelets with all the signature Disney charms on, which I just thought was so special and something that she could have kept forever, but maybe next time when she's a little bit bigger. Oh, wait a sec, just catch my breath. Right. Okay. Right. Food is a big thing to factor in when you're going to Disneyland. Now, again, I would pre-plan all your meals ahead of time. And if you can, do it quite far in advance, because things get booked up and booked out really, really quickly, especially the busy ones. Now, we went to 2 buffet restaurants, and then we went to one kind of more a la carte restaurant. On the first, then we went to 2 a la carte restaurants. Now, on the first day, we started for lunch at Plaza Gardens. Now, Plaza Gardens opens at a certain time. They all open at a certain time, and you will have booked a time slot. Now, again, these places get really busy. There are queues to get in because they have to clock you in before you sit down and start the buffet, for example. So when we went to Plaza Gardens, we were actually one of the first in, and we had to check in. You know, you get given vouchers, or there's a booking on your app, and you can show it on arrival, and then you get seated. Now, the buffets I was actually quite impressed with, especially at Plaza Gardens. The buffet there was actually very, very good. There was a wide selection of food for both adults and children, which was great. So there's a great deal of choice, and I would stock up, because walking around Disneyland, you know, it's hungry work, I'm not going to lie. And there are lots of places that you can get snacks. I mean, lots of places you can get food throughout, but the food can be quite expensive, and also the queues can be really, really long, especially for popular food. So there are Mickey waffles, for example, there are themed popcorn buckets, there are Mickey cookies, and for the more iconic food, there is a longer wait time. Sorry, something just... Okay. Sorry, there's some noise downstairs. I was just seeing what it says, what was going on there. We also went to Walt's, what's it called? Sorry, we need to check this. Dining in the parks. We also went to Waltz, which is an American restaurant. We went there on our first night for dinner. And again, I thought that was fabulous. It's a set menu. So you pick a starter, main, pudding, you pay a set price for all of that. And we had a really good meal there, actually. It's very American themed. There are big ice cream sundaes, which, as you can imagine, the kids loved. And then on the next day, we actually went to the Ratatouille themed restaurant, which was called Bistro Chez Remy. That, I think, was my favorite restaurant in the entire park. I mean, obviously we didn't go to all of them, but I thought it was so good. And we had steak frites one day and it was yum. It was super, super delicious. For dinner, we went to Pym, which is spelled P-Y-M, Pym Kitchen. And that is in the Walt Disney Studio. No, the Walt Disney Studio Park. And again, this was a buffet. It was good. It was an American themed buffet, but I think my favorites were Plaza Gardens and Bistro Chez Remy. They were really, really good. But again, I mean, the list is endless. If you check out their website or have a look on the app, there are 44 restaurants in total. You can filter everything by price or cuisine, and you can find everything that you want. Again, there are options to just kind of grab and go for like lunch and dinner whilst you're in the park, but actually sitting down for lunch was quite nice. Quite nice to just, one, have some cool air, some AC, because it was very, very hot when we went. And it was also just really, really nice to kind of feast up, get lots of water. Tap water is available there, so drink all the tap water you want, and they have 5 minutes just to kind of rest our feet, because pushing around 2 children and carrying one in a carrier, it's hungry work. As I said, it's hungry work. The other thing I will say is you can bring water bottles into both parks, and there are water stations throughout the park. So you can fill up your water throughout the day, which I also think was really, really good, because again, when it's hot, you can get very, very thirsty. So the other things that you guys need to all be aware of, firstly, is the parades and the shows. Now, there are outdoor parades and there are indoor shows. At the moment, if you're going during summer, there is an extra parade at 7:30 every single day. It is called, wait a second, God. Fucking great. Sorry, God, what a start. It's called the Disney Music Festival, and it's on until the 7th of September. This is the first time that Disneyland have ever done a Disney Music Festival, and it's an absolute must. It's across all of the park. Music comes to life with over a dozen daily performances from Moana's Tropical Rhythms in Adventureland to Miguel's Fiesta in Frontierland and Mary Poppins jazzing everything up on Main Street. The highlights include Minnie's marching band grooving to Disney classics. There is a high-energy Disney music hit concert at the Videopolis Theatre. Videopolis. There is a high-energy Disney music hits concert at Videopolis Theatre, and then there is a jaw-dropping grand orchestra finale at sunset, uniting over 80 performances under the stars uniting over 80 performers in front of the Sleeping Beauty Castle. And this happens around 7:30 every day, this final orchestra finale. So that's really, really special. Then there is also the daily magic. Oh, shit. Bloody hell, I can't do this. The brand new Disney Tales of Magic. Then there is the daily Disney Tales of Magic Nighttime Spectacular, which happens every single day on Main Street at around 10:45. Now, this changes all the time, but that's where the big fireworks display happens. And then there is the general parade, which happens every single day at 11:30. That is all outdoor parades, and they are phenomenal. Honestly, try and definitely catch at least one. Then in terms of indoor shows, now, when we were there were 3. available, and we actually went to see all three. There is also another one coming in July called Together, which is a Pixar inspired show, which looks fantastic. Now, the ones that we saw were The Lion King, which was, I mean, the production value on The Lion King was amazing. It was 30 minutes long. We ended up having to queue for about 20 minutes, I think. So it wasn't really too bad. It's a massive, massive theatre. It's in the Disneyland park. So they can fit lots of people in. That is a must see. We also saw Frozen, which is in the Walt Disney Studio Park. Now, the theatre is so much smaller here, and it means that they can't fit as many people in at one time, which meant the queue time was really, really long. I actually ended up queuing for about an hour and 20 minutes. Now, personally, I didn't think that this show was worth the queue time. It was still very, very good, but I think the other two that we saw were much better. So if there's one that you don't want to catch, then I would say that's the one to miss. My favourite was Mickey and the Magician. Now, this was, I mean, unbelievable. We actually saw it on the afternoon of our last day, and had we not seen it so late, I would have definitely gone back again and again and again, because it just was amazing. Like, all the Disney characters from my childhood came on stage, sang songs. I mean, it was fab. It was so, so fab. And we actually ended up booking Premier Access, so you can book Premier Access for different shows. Again, book this in advance. They're about $15 to $20 or euros, actually. They're 15 to 20 euros per head. So they are quite expensive as an add-on. But again, if there is a show you really want to see at a certain time, then definitely book. I mean, in my eyes, it's not a waste of money. The shows are so, so good, and it will save you on having to queue. Saying that, the Mickey and the Magician theatre is humongous. So you will I think they just about reach capacity at nearly every show, but the chances of you getting in is very, very high. But it is absolutely wonderful. That, again, is my absolute favourite. So definitely do that. Other magical extras that you need to be aware of is the photo pass. So again, you will get given a photo pass at the beginning of your stay if you're staying in a Disneyland hotel. And every single time that you go on a ride that has a photo, make sure that you add the photos to your photo pass, because then you can buy them at any point during or after your trip. This is key. I think photos are such a great way to preserve memories, especially the funny photos that they take of you all on the ride. So definitely do that. As mentioned earlier, you can also do meet and greets with the characters throughout the park. And then there's also character breakfasts at different hotels. So again, if you're interested in that, definitely look at the hotel that you're staying in and make sure you book those in advance. And everything is on the app, where different characters are throughout the park, and then the wait times to see these different characters. Now, you can jump the line. I think it's €5 every single time you want to jump the line to see a character. So again, if there is a character that you really, really want to see, it is possible to jump that line. Again, everything is payable through the app. So make sure that you're super organized and get this done before you arrive. Right. I'm going to move on to the real talk now. I'm not going to lie. When we arrived, number one, maybe a slight overshare, I had no, actually, let's cut that. Now for the real talk. So I wish, in hindsight, we had brought an extra pair of hands. I do think that the more adult hands that you have, the easier the whole experience is. It is a very, very, very busy park. Keeping your eyes on all the children at all times is difficult, especially when you go into stores and stuff like that, where they get so overexcited and they run off. It can be a little bit manic at times. So if you have more hands, bring them with you, definitely. Navigating the park is actually very easy. It's very easy to get around. There's lots of people to help you if you need help, which is super, super helpful. And there are maps aplenty. Again, the app is your one-stop shop for making your life so much easier. So I'm going to say this again. Download the app before you go to Disney. Other challenges for us were mostly related to the baby. And whilst the baby was allowed to go on so many of the rides, getting different naps in quiet areas and trying to transfer him from the carrier to the stroller to the carrier to the stroller was hard. Strollers aren't allowed into any of the restaurants, and they aren't allowed into any of the queues. So if you do have a baby, the baby needs to be in a carrier probably most of the time. All of the strollers have to be left outside the rides, and that is definitely something to note. If you have got a child that is not big enough to constantly walk, definitely bring a stroller with you. You can also rent strollers if you don't want to bring one on your travels. But I mean, it's a long day. You're doing a lot of steps. So definitely try and bring some form of stroller with you. Now, again, in hindsight, next time I would probably end up bringing a wagon. You know, those massive wagons that you can buy and then put all your kids inside, and then you can like slot all your stuff like wipes, snacks, everything that you need around the side. I also met a girl in the queue, and she was traveling with 2 kids. She had a massive wagon. The wagon had a massive shade. Her 2-year-old was asleep in the wagon, which I was like, oh my God, you're a genius. She also had these like pop-up stools. So they flat pack, so you can easily like put them away, and then you can pull them up into a seat. So when you're queuing, you can sit on a chair, which again, I thought was amazing. Another big tip is bring a lanyard or something to hand around your neck so you can be hands-free from your phone. Obviously, you want to take photos all the time. So if you have a strap or something that you can strap your phone to, or a lanyard like that you can, like a little pouch that you can put your phone in, definitely do that. Or maybe a bum bag for easy access, and then also have all your tickets and everything else that you need quick access to in that same thing. It makes life so much easier. Also, if it's hot, definitely bring a fan of some description, and it does get very, very hot. It was really, really hot when we were there. And also pack for rain. It is Europe at the end of the day. So if you like, just bring a light raincoat. Again, it rained once when we were there, and it was actually quite nice, a nice respite from all the sun that we were getting. So 100% bring those with you. In terms of like the language and the currency, I mean, we paid on card for absolutely everything. There's card access everywhere. I don't think you need cash at all. It's not essential. So definitely don't. I mean, you can then pay in any single currency you want. Again, I mean, buy all the Disney inspired stuff that you want before you arrive. But you can also buy so much Disney stuff on site. We ended up buying the kids an outfit each, which was really fun. If you are coming from Dubai, there is also the Disney store in Dubai, which has some great stuff. So definitely try and visit there if you want to before your trip. But there is plenty that you can get on site as well. And actually shopping is part of the fun. It was nice to pop inside and actually escape from the sun for a little bit inside the stores. And there's so much unique, different stuff in there. So yeah, definitely save some time for shopping for sure. Right, what else? I think the biggest challenges for us, as I mentioned, was the 3 kids, 2 adults saga. The kids got very, very tired very, very easily, and they got very hungry all the time. So yeah, snacks is key. Wet wipes is also key. Bring so many wet wipes. I feel like their hands were sticky all the time. Also, we brought hand sanitizer, which was a great help because, again, like there were big queues for everything. They were touching the floor, lying on the floor, having meltdowns on the floor. So we had hand sanitizer with an easy access just in case we needed it. But yeah, snacks is key. And also if you can go somewhere and have like a break or a sit down or a rest in the middle of the day, I would go hard in the morning, have a quiet time in the middle of the day, and then go out and again in the afternoon, because it is a long day for you and for the kids. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was exhausted at the end of every single day. I need a holiday to recover from my holiday, if I'm being honest. But it's all worth it. And honestly, I mean, lots of people are like, your kids are so young, why are you going? I do think that going at this young age, there is so much for them to do, and it is just so magical. Quite overwhelming at times, but so manageable. So magical. So yeah, I'm going to be doing lots of different things that you guys can use if you are going to Disney this year. Definitely follow us on social media. If you don't already, you can find us at We Are Mother Tongue. I'm going to be doing a load of content and tips and tricks on planning a trip to Disney. And then, as I mentioned, I'm also going to put our whole itinerary on a downloadable, which you'll be able to find on our website. So definitely check that out as well. Guys, if you're going to Disney, you're going to have the best time. You're going to have the best time. Obviously, feel free to DM me if you've got any questions. I'm very, very happy to chat to anyone who does. And yeah, guys, it is magic. And do you know what? It's lightened a fire in my heart. Means that I'm now going to have to visit every single Disney around the world. I'm going to have to do it. It's kind of like a weird pleasure pain, because there were points when I was there that I was a bit like, what am I doing? Why am I here? This is mad. This is chaotic. I am exhausted. There are too many people. But I feel like the highs definitely outweighed the lows. And just seeing their faces light up when they're on a ride, or they meet a character, or they see something for the first time, oh my God, it's just worth everything. And the one last thing that we actually didn't do that I will tell you all to do, because I'm gutted that we actually didn't have time to do it. There's the Disneyland train that goes around the whole of the Disneyland park, and it looked so fun. It stops off at all of the different lands, and it looks beautiful. It's like a real old-fashioned train. It was sadly closed on our first day, and on the second day the queues were so long because the second day we were there was a Saturday. Saturdays are busy. Saturdays and Sundays are obviously busy because you're getting all kind of like the local traffic as well, because it's the weekend. So again, if you're planning on going and you can go during the week, definitely something to look out for. Anyway, everyone, I'm going to stop talking now. I feel like I have rabbited on for a good 40 minutes about Disney, but I hope this helps. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave us a little comment. As I mentioned, give me a little follow, DM me if you have any questions. And guys, I'll be seeing you all again next week. Thanks for listening.